Hello and welcome to another Plate Stack Chat. This show is still supported by Strivey. I think they had something go down yesterday due to a third party, but it's all been sorted because, these guys are really on it. So go and check out what they can do for you. But let's welcome today's guest. It is a name that many people, if they didn't know already, they will have learned last year after she took a 25th place finish worldwide in the Open, which would have been 14th in Europe, 4th in the UK, and a first place finish in the individual semi-finals, making her rookie debut at the CrossFit Games with a 26th place finish. And you can still see her popping up all over the competition floor in Europe and beyond. She recently won the full series Throwdown again, keeping her crown for a second year. And you can see her name on qualifying leaderboards like the Arnold's or the French Throwdown. So it looks like she's planning on making this year even more memorable than last year. Please welcome the fabulous Siria Meha.
Hello.
Hello. So, that's
Hi.
quite, a list of accomplishments, Siria, just from last year. How are you, first of all? How's the day?
Today is well, I survived my swim because I went swimming. I'm not great at it. I started doing it because it's coming up quite a lot in competition, so I couldn't escape it any longer. But I survived it, so I got it done. It's okay. As long as I keep, some improvement will come eventually.
I think you posted up a reel the other day, or maybe you reshared someone else's reel the other day about swimming, and it was like, oh, I beat the old lady in the lane next to me. She didn't even know we were racing, and I thought, that's an athlete after my own heart. What's the swimming sessions looking like for you
now? My problem with swimming is the breathing. It's because my fitness is is good, and my body functions, but it's the mechanical type of breathing that I struggle with. Because when I'm in metcons, I breathe in whenever I want and quite often. But when I have to breathe every 3 strokes, I feel like I want to breathe a bit more often. So I feel like it feels like life-threatening, because even if I'm not holding my breath, I am blowing out slowly. I still feel like I would like to breathe in, not just breathe out.
Yes.
That breathing I need to get. But I think it's gotten better. I wasn't able to do long distances. Now I can do a bit more slowly, but it's getting better. But I see big improvements, which is nice, because in CrossFit, in a sport, when you get a few years in, the margin of improvement is very small. But because this is new to me, I see these big chunks of improvements. It's very encouraging. It keeps you going.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it, but you're absolutely right. And that's when they bring in a new movement. And then it's I can't, when they do pullovers or something, and people are like, oh, I can't do this, I can't, and then suddenly they can do 20 unbroken, and you're like,
double other crossovers, and it was completely different in 2025 to when they came out the first time. People had time, they went away, they learned it, and they came back. But it's good. It sometimes it shakes your confidence a little bit, because you're so used to being good at what you do, and then you have to...
Not all of us, Siria. We're not all used to being good at what we do. Welcome to the world of average.
It's hard to be good at CrossFit because it's so varied, but if you're averagely good, and then you go into a completely different environment, and it's quite a bit of a hit. But
and swimming is the one that's if you're thinking oh, I can't breathe and I'm in the middle of a metcon, guess what? You can stop. I know you shouldn't, but you can just stop. But swimming, you can't just stop. You're in the middle of the pool or in open water, you've got to keep swimming, right?
Yes.
Do you find the breathing, have you done any open water swimming? Do you find the breathing more of an issue when the water is choppy and there's other people around and things like that?
Because I did open water swimming. I think in 2024, I was in Bulgaria, and we had some burpees over an obstacle into 100-meter swim. It was a few rounds of that. And first of all, I lost orientation. I just went off somewhere else. And then every time I tried to breathe, I didn't know if a wave was coming. And if it was coming, I was just chucking in a lot of water. Because in a pool, unless you're swimming right next to someone and they create some waves, you know where you're breathing. So it's a lot easier. But in open water, orientation is a big one. And the waves are just... But it slows everybody down when it's like that. So it's just more messy. I don't enjoy it too much. And it depends also on the water. The water was so salty and so they had a lot of salt. It was quite unpleasant.
But you get a mouthful of that, it's not pleasant. Yeah, and also like it's harder to if it is a weakness, it's harder to just work on it compared to other weaknesses. Like you mentioned, double under crossovers. It's like everybody's got a rope, everybody's got access to somewhere they can skip. So if that's your
Mhm.
weakness, you can work on that like every day if you
Yes,
want.
yeah,
But if it's swimming, like, I've got to get to either a pool or a body of water that I can swim in, and maybe that means travel, and it means the time that I'm there, and that's I can't just tack it on to the end of my workout. I've got to plan it, so it's a tricky one to manage. I'm sure you'll manage it no problem. So but I know that you had swimming today, so that's been a
yeah.
fun start. Let's ask an obvious question: have you signed up for the Open?
Ah, yes, of course. I signed up at the very beginning because they released some very nice videos for all games athletes. And they asked us, we made this video for you. Could you share it and just write something about the Open? And so when I shared it together with other people, it was right on the day of the registration when it opened. I released it on Instagram and then I signed up myself. So I did it nice and early this year. Normally I just wait to the end, but I always sign up, of course. But yeah, I did it
Yeah.
early. Just
How has so I mean it's not your first time doing the Open. You've done the Open many times.
yes.
But obviously like particularly last year and then more so the individual semi-final, but I mean also your Open finish last year was noticeable, that people kind of take note of who you are. Then that's followed up. That happens in the Open sometimes. We get names pop up that we're like, oh, that's not a name that I'm that familiar with, but okay, and then they disappear. But
Yeah.
you're stuck around, and then this you take this first place finish at the semifinals, which is if you look at that leaderboard, there's some very recognizable names on that leaderboard. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, how was that? First of all, how was that experience for you?
When they released it, when I saw it, or the semi-final itself, like
Hey,
hearing on the podcast.
whatever comes out of your heart first.
So a lot of people don't know this, but I train in the UK. They think I compete for Albania because it's my nationality, but I live in the UK and I train in CrossFit Huntsman. It's in Hertfordshire, and they had the coaches there when they did the extra courses, and they they did everything that they could to help me to do the semifinals online, because I did try to sign up for the French. But then qualifiers, I missed one qualifier because things went wrong, and so I couldn't. I was highly in the semifinal. I was fourth, I think, and I even signed up for Korea last year. But then I didn't. I thought, no, it's too far. I don't have a chance. That's what my thinking was. And then so the online one, I was okay. I'm here. They are really willing to help, and so it worked. I saw the workouts and I liked all of them, apart from. There was one with the clean and jerks. The barbell wasn't too heavy. Clean and jerks, shuttle runs into burpees, or maybe shuttle runs, clean and jerk into burpees. But the burpees one, it was like intervals. I didn't like that one. But all the other ones, I was reading them. I was like, I could be really good at this, because there was one, the long one, 30 minutes, rope climbs, toes to bar, rowing. I was like, I have very good toes to bar volume, and I am a bit on the taller side. I really enjoy rope climb, so I think this workout will do good. And then Isabeau, I don't have a great clean and jerk, but I have a very good snatch, and that was just snatch. I said, oh, that's great. All of them, there was one with two dumbbells that everybody spoke about, because it had the overhead, the double dumbbell walking lunge, very heavy dumbbells for, I think it was 232 kilos for men and 222s for females. And that's flexibility, because everybody's saying, oh, the shoulders are going to get pumped. But one of the things that CrossFit should test is flexibility, and the ability to be in that locked position without your shoulders blowing up. And I was like, I have good shoulder mobility. This is going to be great. And all of those things. And I was like, oh, I have a shot here. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And I had someone tell me some good scores of some elite athletes. So after that, I was like, oh, so this is competitive score. This is competitive. And I noticed my burpee one, I knew it wasn't so great, because I went way too hot at the start, the usual. And then I repeated it and I got a much better score. And when the leaderboard came out, I saw this red flag, because Albanian flag is a red flag. And I was like, it's red. I was like, that's not me. And then I was second at the beginning. I think, I don't remember. I think, I don't know. There was someone ahead, but they got some reps on the GHD sit-ups because of the standards of where the hips should be, where you should sit on. So on the outer
Right.
side. So I didn't sleep that night. I think I slept like at 5 a.m. because it got released very late. I think it was like 1 a.m., 1:30. I was wide awake, just waiting for it. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh my God, is this really happening? And yeah, I didn't sleep. I called my mom. I woke her up very late at night. I was like, I made it. I made it. It took me, I think only recently I absorbed it because it was so, um, I didn't believe it. I knew I was getting better, but I had competed that year in January and in April, and I noticed that in April, because it was the company I did in January wasn't really CrossFit, but in April in Athens, I finished second to Karin Frey, but both of us we had such a big separation to most of the girls, and I noticed I was like, I've improved because up to that point my strength was my focus because my weightlifting numbers weren't high enough, and so I left my conditioning behind for a bit, and then I just worked on the conditioning. And even if my strength numbers are still not extremely high, I noticed that I was able to I was more, yeah, I was performing a lot better. So I noticed it since April that year, and then it worked out. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. I think I remember exchanging some messages with you after like the leaderboard had been published but hadn't been like finalized. And I think I was saying to you, oh, this is great, and like I'd love to get a chat and all of that. The usual things that I send to people when they're doing well. And I remember I think your response was like, let's wait until it's like real. Let's just wait until it actually gets locked in. And we did wait. We waited for you to actually go to the games itself, and then have another year pass, and now we're chatting. But that's fine.
Yes.
That's fine. But it's interesting. Yeah, Athens like was a good indicator for you, I suppose. Now coming back, because I said we saw each other at the fall series, and that felt like a similar thing where there was you, Aphrodite, and Kika there was, you guys were kind of having a bit of a battle, although I think you won, was it 5 out of 6 of the of the workout? So, define battle however you like, but they were very close behind. Like if you won, they were behind you by a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And then there was quite a bit more separation between the rest of the pack. So it kind of felt like the podium was quite locked up early on. And it was just, like if you would make a mistake or if they could capitalize. And there wasn't even that opportunity, was there? Because if one of them could get ahead of the other one, there was kind of no one that could get between them. So you couldn't build any separation on any of the
I
workouts.
really enjoyed that competition because these girls, both Kika and Aphrodite, they are very good in Europe. So it's not. There are some competitions where you might go and think, oh, maybe the level wasn't that high. I shouldn't get into I'm not that good. It's important to be grounded because there is always someone better than you at something. But these girls were strong, and because I'm quite negative when I'm training in my own gym, I always think like, oh, this is wrong, this wasn't a good week, I didn't do this very well. When I go into competitions, things go well, I really try to take them in and absorb them, because I know it's a very short window that I allow myself to think I am performing good. So but that competition, I know that I was up there with how well I can perform. Similarly to semifinals, I performed. I was on top of my recovery. I was sleeping properly. The coaches allowed me to go at odd hours to do these events, and they would just come and open the gym, and we would do it together. I tapered in a proper way for Milan, and it boosted my confidence. It showed me that what I'm doing is working, especially with my aerobic fitness, my cardiovascular fitness. I felt that I was always able to breathe properly. I was never I was in control, which I was pretty happy with. Yeah.
Funny that we come back to breathing, which is your problem.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I remember speaking to you before the very first workout, which was the run and the row, or the row and the run, we should say. And I think you were a little bit, I mean, one, because it's the first workout of an event, so you're kind of, it's a little bit like, oh, this is the first workout, but it's also all cardio, and so but you won that, so well done.
I worked on my running too. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, no. If you've been working on your running, that showed. Like you I remember seeing you even look behind you because you were confident where you are. So that was that was fine. I was curious though, because like you said, with the semi-final workouts, like, were like a dream for you. It was kind of like, oh, these are pretty, obviously you can't get every workout be the perfect workout, but there were a lot of workouts that you were like, this is a good one for me, this is a good one for me, this is a good one for me, this is a damage control slightly, but then this is good for me, which meant you could finish winning it, which puts a massive spotlight on you for
Yeah.
going to the games, right? So it's one thing to like qualify, if they're taking top 3 in a competition and you qualify in 3rd, and it's kind of like, yeah, she just snuck in, well done, rookie season at the games, that'll be interesting. But when you win, and we've mentioned ones like Ariel Lowe and people like that are on that same leaderboard, there is now a spotlight of, well, what's she going to do when she gets to the games? Did you feel that sort of extra pressure on you because of how well you'd done?
I didn't like it at all. I remember telling the owner of my box, I was like, I wish I was 11th, because I could because they had 11 spots. I was like, I wish I was just 11th so that I'd get in. And it's not like I didn't have pressure to do something amazing, because it was my first year. But I didn't like the noise. I didn't like from 0 to like messages in my phone. Like, it just, I'm quite private, like I don't tend to talk so much. I struggle. Like, my life is quite I go to my gym, and the most enthusiastic things are competitions where I meet a lot of people and things, but it's very quiet. So when all of a sudden there was so much noise, they did also the documentary, the Road to the Games documentary, and I had to tell them I really cannot do any more talking. Like, it wasn't a lot of talking, but even at the gym I was trying to train, but congratulations, like, it was a lot. So not more than my performance over there, it was the noise that came after it. It was good because winning it meant that I won some money, so it was good for that. But
that's always good.
11th would have been more than enough to start with. And then, in fact, after my qualifications, I did something as almost a rookie mistake. Even if I've been in the sport for many years, I found a coach. I don't want to, as we know, every person responds to different types of training. And I always changed my own training depending on how I felt, because if I didn't sleep last night, I'm not gonna go and do max heart rate intervals tomorrow, because I'm not gonna get anything out of it. I'm gonna not get there even, because I'm so fatigued. I adjusted it, but then I found a coach and he prepped me for the games, and their method was quite brutal, and he ended up doing more damage than good. And so I turned up injured, burned out. It's okay, but in a way it was good, because now I'm even a bit back to being, it's gone back to being quiet. So I got a good year of being able to train in the shadows.
I guess if you'd had like a top 15 finish, the noise would have continued a lot more than it had. I mean, I think people are aware of you. As soon as you go to the games, people are aware of you. But yeah, a higher finish makes more noise for like speculation about the next year. What are they doing? This, that. Obviously we hope you go back. Like that's the goal, right? But that's interesting. So who are you? Like, so you had a coach. You've obviously not with that coach anymore, I'm guessing.
No,
did you go back to kind of your own? Are you with training?
I'm working with Yami.
You're working with Yami. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got experience at getting athletes to the games. We know. Have you done any kind of? Are you doing any like camps with any of the other athletes?
No, I was invited in Mallorca to train with them guys, and I struggle with people like me because it's too intense. I'm very intense, and if someone else is like that, I think I end up burning out very quickly. I did last year a training camp in Greece, and it worked okay, but I had an injured foot and everything. And we were also doing tests. We were doing a 2K max row. We were doing a 10K run. A lot of bodily challenging things that I burn myself out for. And so
Yeah.
I like to just keep my own rhythm, which is intense enough, because if you have it within, if you have that fire within, you don't really need anybody to set more fire to it, because there is only a certain point where you can get to. So I didn't do, I turned down Mallorca. I met Singleton in Milan. We were there.
Oh, John, yeah.
And he said, but I'm not doing any training camps at the moment. And I have so many competitions lined up. There is no
I
more
want to talk
trouble.
to you about that, because you've got a lot lined up. Let's just say hello to Mr. Andrew Hiller, who's here.
Hey.
So we talked about like suddenly people knowing your name and things like that. So I think Andrew might have mentioned you as well during that period when. So that will have put more people, more noise around your name, which is a good. It's something you need as well within this sport, right? Because as you said, like winning got you some money, which was helpful, but also you need people to know who you are for sponsorship, for things like that, to fund the many competitions you're going to. So I know you did a lot last year. I keep seeing you like the different ones
I
in
don't want
Europe.
to shut myself doors, so just sign up, and like if something happens, I don't go. But I sign up to everything.
But we talk about people knowing your name. Have you noticed a lot of these events are using you like as the poster girl for some of their events?
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of social media posts with like upcoming events, and I'm like, oh, it's Siria again. That's interesting. And I don't even know if you're going to all of these events. I can't believe you are.
I am going to Rome next week.
Yes.
They invited me there, so I'm definitely going to Rome. In March, I'm coming to the Arnolds. I've been to the Arnolds in 2024. So I've been there. I won it in 2024, so I'm gonna try and win it again. That's my plan.
Which is the same thing you said to me about the full series. You were like, "Oh, I won it before. I'm going to win it again," and that happened. So
I didn't say I will, but I want to. Of course, like everybody wants to.
I think you said will. Okay, well, I'm not going to be at Rome, but please say hello to all the media team, because it's basically the same team that was in Milan.
Yes.
I probably am going to be at the Arnolds, so maybe Friday, Saturday. I don't think I'll be there Sunday, but I will. So I won't get to watch you win it because I won't be there Sunday, but I'll get to watch you
I am on Saturday.
Are you just on Saturday?
Yeah, okay. Sunday I think it's either teams or Saturday is only it's only one day. It's a one-day comp.
Are you just doing one day of it?
I think
because I knew like the Masters was just the Saturday, but I thought maybe the Elite had 2 days. But that's fine then. Okay, even better.
To be honest, because I was last 2 years ago it was just one day.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I trust you more than me, absolutely. So it's March. It's end of March as well. I haven't done enough. Like, I've just sort of marked the dates in my calendar to be like, okay, they're the dates it's running, and so I know to be free for those days. Beyond that, I haven't kind of looked at the field and who's doing what. That's what next month is for. But I will be there. So you've got. When is Rome? Next week?
Rome is next week. Yeah, I fly Friday. So 1 week.
So you got that next week. Then you've got the Arnold's end of March. The Open in between.
Yeah, and the quarterfinals the same weekend as the Arnolds. So on the Sunday, I will be squeezing those in. Because I'm in for semifinals. For France and Madrid. I don't have a lot of pressure through quarterfinals as long as I do good enough. I don't have. I don't need to be top 20 in quarterfinals to get into Spain, for example, to the French, because I already got in through regular. Like I've done the last 3 weeks, I haven't almost trained because it's been a qualifier over qualifier. So some days I'd go in, do a qualifier in the morning, go back in the afternoon, do a qualifier in the afternoon, and that was my session. So qualifiers are finished.
I saw you do a qualifier on the final day of the full series. You finished the event. Congratulations, you've won, stand atop the podium. All right, now I'm going to go in the back and do a qualifier for the Arnolds.
Yes, because it was due on Monday and I was competing until Sunday. I flew the day it got released, but it was easy. Like I only needed a rig and a barbell, and you have
Mhm.
both of those things in the backstage of a competition. And so I did it there because I was high, and I knew I was gonna qualify even if
Yeah.
I didn't do very well in that one. But it went good. Um, but yeah, I had to squeeze it in at the end just to. I was so tired, and the room was so hot. It wasn't a great environment, but yeah, I had to squeeze that in at the end.
Yeah. So it's funny because I feel like this is what you were doing beforehand anyway. Like, because you
Yeah,
mentioned like Athens was for you a sign that you'd made improvements. So you were already somebody that was going, and like you said, you won the Arnolds before, you won full series before. So like going to these events isn't anything new for you. Actually, winning some of these events isn't new for you,
no, no.
but it's probably more that people are like, now your name has a bit more like recognition. They're going,
Yes.
that's Siria's won that. Oh, interesting. Oh, Siria. Whereas before, it's just like, oh, this person's won it. I don't know who they are. That's great. That's
When I
interesting. And
won, yeah,
oh,
in 2024 in the Arnolds, I remember because normally you win a competition, you get some followers. It's not
mhm,
like I noticed if I get a few followers. Like when I was in China, I got a lot of followers from that continent. But when I won at the Arnolds, because nobody knew me, they didn't even know that I lived in the UK. I didn't get. I think I got one or two, and then it was very strange. But in other countries, like I've won a few times in Turkey. Turkey is very connected to Albania, so they like me when I go over there. And I've been there like 5-6 times now, and doing well. And so they kind of know me in that continent, like in that country. But within the UK, I went to the Southwest Regionals. Um,
mhm.
Last year and
Oh,
the year before as well.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it wasn't very known. And in fact, sometimes I really liked to do qualifiers very bad in 2023, 2024, because I would go down and nobody would like worry about me. And then
yeah,
because nobody knew who I was. And so in the sport, and then I would go in the competition and do well. And they're like, we weren't looking at you, we're looking at like the top three. But I never really cared to win a qualifier. It never mattered to me. Sometimes I'd get people text me, people that knew me, like, what happened in the qualifiers? Why are you third or fourth? I was like, I'm planning on winning the competition. I'm gonna try my best at the competition, not in the qualifier. Sometimes I would do qualifiers at the end of a session just to make sure I
mhm.
wasn't ruining my training, which mattered more than the qualifiers. I just do it at the end. It sounds a bit arrogant in a way because it feels like, oh,
No,
whatever, when I'm gonna qualify. But
I f-
it depends.
I think that's an indication of your level of athlete that because I like, so like for me as a very, very, very average person, like the open for me is the beginning and the end, right? Like I go and do the open and I do that, and I do it for more than anything because everyone at the box is doing it and we do it as a community, and it's like, here's a great opportunity. And it's that thing where I can go anywhere in the world, meet another person doing CrossFit and be like, oh, do you remember 26.1? Oh, that was horrendous, wasn't it? Yuck, 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 right? So I give my all in an open workout to a degree. I never redo them. I've never redone an open workout. And I have said I could trip on the chalk bucket and I would not redo the workout. That's my
Okay.
score. But that's because I push really hard, like harder than I would in a normal workout. But it's because I know there's nothing after that. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's the most I'm going to do. And I think with some of these competitions where people are trying to qualify, and maybe, oh, I've done it, RX the last 2-3 years, but I really want to qualify in the elite field this year. They have to give everything to make sure they qualify. Like they have to put it all in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you, I mean, you've been to the games. That already sets you as an athlete that is of a certain caliber, right? So being able to say, well, I know that my qualification is pretty secure as long as I do all the qualifiers properly. I don't get any, mistakes because of filming or
Yeah.
submitting scores, things like that. And I'm not going to phone it in, but I'm going to push as hard as I need to qualify, because actually I'm going there to win. Like that's my goal. Whereas
It,
someone else, their goal is to be on that floor, right? My goal is to get on
yes.
the
Yeah.
elite floor
Yeah.
versus my goal is to win the elite
Yeah.
division. So I think you're just I think you're a very good athlete who tries to stay humble and modest, but it's hard because you're a good athlete.
Yes, I think so too. Because I agree. But it's hard. But it's hard not to be humble in the sport. It's just
Yeah.
you're not good at you're not the best at everything.
No.
But the Arnolds in March, I would be very disappointed if I didn't win it. To be honest, I would be disappointed because I do go into the competition sometimes. Sometimes I shouldn't do, but I do look at the athletes. And even at Milan, I went in and I said, objectively, I'm the highest ranked athlete here. If I don't win it, I've done something. Something is not right. I did something wrong, and so I would be disappointed. And it depends. It definitely depends on the programming. But when it's a 3-day competition, something you might not be so good at, but there is just so much variance that you if you are the best overall, then if it's 6 events, 4 out of 6, if they're good for you, then if they're all bad for you, it means that you are not so good at what you do. In fact, when I remember when I was talking about the semifinals, and I was telling other people, oh, I really like this because there are a lot of ring muscle ups. I have good ring muscle ups volume, and I love rope climbs, and I love this. And so you're good at most things. That's why you really like all of them. That's what the comment I would get. So even the semifinals this year, I repeated, I think, for Spain, I had to repeat one because I forgot to reset my rowing monitor, and I started pulling and I had my eyes shut, and then I realized and I lost quite a few more meters, and I was like, this is not, I redid it just for the error. I went even slower and I cut 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So I thought I had to redo that because I was didn't want to lose so much there. But the rest, just once and done, unless something wrong happened, because there was so much going on. Because I'm also in for Korea. I did 6 workouts for Korea. One of them was a 10K row.
I saw that. Yeah.
If you go slow enough,
wasn't that the first one, right? Was that workout one of the qualifier?
It had to be submitted by the first window, so it was. I think it was one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went slow because I tried it once. I went hard, and then I had because people row in different ways. The way I row, I cannot stay seated on the row for longer than 5 minutes because I just can't stay seated on the seat because my muscles pump up. I just can't. Mm-hmm. So what I did, I was doing like 500 meters arms only and 500 meters normal. My score was not great, but I survived it. It's a qualifier, so I thought, doesn't matter.
So are you planning to go to? Will you go to Korea? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I want to go to. I'm gonna go to Korea. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to Korea because there is only one spot, but and the competition, people are coming from all over the world, so the level is high. That one spot puts a lot more pressure than 3 spots in Spain and 3 spots in France, but. I plan on going. I'm gonna try because it's a first semi-final. It's at the beginning of May, end of it's like the 1st of May, 2nd of May.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go there, try for that one spot. If not, I will be going to the French. If not, I'm going to Madrid. Okay. If not, I'm going online.
Right. So you've said a lot of if nots. So my question is, if you get that spot in Korea, first shot, you get it immediately. Does that completely change the competition? Like, do you just not go to those competitions anymore? Are there some that you're like, oh, I'm going to regardless, or that's it? And now we just go into training mode.
No.
You wouldn't go?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll hold off on booking my flight to France.
Sorry?
I said I'll hold off on booking my flight to France. Then I'll wait and see if Siria will be there.
I will book them, but I will book everything. So I would lose some money, but there is a lot of stress in competing. And if I can just it's very close to us, France and Spain. Flights are not so bad, but I would not do the other semifinals.
Would you not be tempted? You know how you like to qualify low and then surprise people? Wouldn't you like? I mean, do you know what I would like to see? And I'll just put it out there, and you can decide if you want to do something with this information or not. But I would like to see you go to Korea, get the qualifying spot there. You're in, okay, and let everyone say she's in, but she had to go. She went to Korea. That's not really one of the. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same as if she'd won it in one of the American ones. Then follow that up by going to France, going to Spain, and just do badly. Just really finish like bottom of the pack, really low. So then when you're going to the games, everyone is like, well, this girl, like she
That's too
shouldn't
much
even
for it.
be here, right? She only got in through Korea. Did you see her score in France? Oh, terrible. And then just go full send at the games and
My
surprise
parents told me
everyone.
something different. My dad was like, because I always eat the same 3 foods, I always have my green beans and my beef. He was like, why don't you start putting pictures of burgers? So, or chips or things that
Yeah,
you don't
just
actually eat.
surprise.
So people think, oh my God. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
too
the
much.
secret.
My job,
Well, how about your dad and I, we have a chat. We'll come up with some ideas and
something, yeah.
we'll run your social media for a couple of months and it will be a big surprise. No, that's great. I mean,
I'm
yeah,
going to
that
go.
it's
I've already been to China. I really enjoyed going to China, and the competition, it was great. But I'm going to Korea because if there is a chance I might get in, and the sooner I get in, the more time I get to
oh yeah.
train. So it would work well. And my boyfriend wants to go to Korea as well. He wants to visit, so he can visit while I'm like staying in the hotel.
The Korean, like the CrossFit community in Korea looks amazing. I
It's,
followed
it's,
so my wife's from Asia, so like every time when it was a semi-final, especially when it was like region locked, I was always interested to see like, oh, how are the athletes from here doing? And this is interesting. Okay. And so I followed quite a lot the Far East Throwdown and stuff like that. And it, and it's been amazing to see, particularly in Korea, just the growth of
yeah,
CrossFit and just how excited they are about
yes,
CrossFit, which
yes,
is at a time where, you look at other parts of the world where the excitement doesn't feel like it's there all the time. And and here is my final thing then. So we've talked a lot about that. So I'm gonna put a pin in that. Go to Korea, have a great time,
thank you.
grab yourself a ticket if you can, and if not, you've still got some more chances.
I'll see you in
We'd
France
love,
and then in Spain
yeah,
and online.
yeah. Then
Yeah.
online, then yes, no. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The earlier you can get it, you can then really, it gives you, it's such an advantage on like being able to have all that time just to prep.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Is
why I
great.
wouldn't definitely do more
Yeah.
semifinals, because competitions, you are tapering for them, you're competing, then you're deloading after.
Yeah.
Now with all the qualifiers, my training hasn't been regular, and with the competitions coming up, we will still be a bit around, which is great. Like, this is the sport we want. I love competing. I more than I struggle to be to even with sponsors. I have great sponsors, but I really struggle to be more like not selling things, but I prefer competing. I'm an athlete. I'm not really good on
You're
my
like,
phone.
I'll wear it while I'm competing, but don't
Yeah,
expect me to talk about it on social media for the
because
rest of the year. Like when I'm on the
I
floor.
notice that it burns me out, the phone. The more I look at it, the more I'm burned out, and I go back in the afternoon
Oh,
tired. I
still
want to go back to training, and so if I can stay away from my phone for a bit, I'd rather do that.
It's probably the most healthy mindset to have, to be honest with you. And I think it's funny because with like one of the things you'll hear, and again, not an athlete, so feel free to jump in and say this is stupid, but it's like, I know people go, no, but I need to go to like, I want to go to the French Throwdown, or I want to go to this event, or I want to go to like a Waterloo because I want to see where I stack up, like on like against those athletes, right? But
Yeah,
if you're
yeah, yeah.
already going to the games, like it doesn't matter how, like if I go to another event and I see how I stack up, what does that change between then and the
Yeah.
games? It doesn't change. Like it's
Mhm.
not going to be, oh, do you know what? I didn't think I'd bother trying to get fitter, but now I will. Like you're still going to be working on yourself
Yes.
regardless, right? So it's kind of, if you want to see how you stack up against those people, see it at the games, right? Like that's,
Mhm.
you know, go all in on go dark, no social media posts, hide away,
Yes.
don't let
Yeah.
anyone see you, and then just
But
appear on the
I think
field.
that's what happened to me. I didn't want it to be that way. But when in 2023, 2024, when I was competing and I started winning and making some money, I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this because I felt like, oh, that I found like this way of getting something out of the sport. I didn't aspire to become like, I qualified for the Wodapalooza a couple of years ago. I didn't end up going because I thought there is no way I'm winning this. I'm only gonna hit, like, I'm gonna buy, the flights are gonna be expensive. I love competing if it's in the box next door if it's in Miami. So I just thought, let me just stick to where I am and do my best over here because I have a shot here. That's what I thought. I don't have a shot, but that's I'm not going. So my name never really came out until it was at the
until you made it to the
semifinals.
games. Yeah.
In the Open, yeah. Because I always cared about the season more than other things. Like not this year, up to the quarterfinals, because I'm competing on that Saturday. Even the quarterfinals are not my big focus, but semifinals are. So for semifinals, I will be. It will be just that. That's what where I will try to do my best.
And then the Rogue Invitational's back in Scotland for one more year, so that's not very far. But that's a heavy competition. So if you don't love the heavyweights, that's usually.
Strength is my weakness still.
Yeah. But you never know. Let's see. My final thing then, because I said I would only keep you to 45 minutes. At the box, like, has things changed for you with? Because I think to like CrossFit Bath, where I go, that the majority of people know nothing about. Like, you could say, like, I'm going to What Active on Sunday, and for some that might as well be the CrossFit Games because they know nothing about like events, right? Has it changed at your box? Do people know like, oh no, Siria's really like, she's at a certain level, or are you just another face in the crowd?
No, they like the sport. They like competitive sport in my gym. We have competitors in my gym that go to boxes nearby and do local competitions. But I was the first. There is another girl there that's competing outside of the country as well. But I was the only one that went in. I was like, I'm gonna go here and compete. I'm gonna go there. So nobody really knew how good I was. I think when I won the Arnolds, because it was in the country and my gym heard about it, they were like, Siria won that one. And so, she's actually good. And personally, I always thought people looked at me, and when I was like taking breaks mid Metcon, they'd be like, I thought she was good. Why is she taking breaks? That's how I felt about them. But they never, they always looked like, I was different and they saw it from the start, but they just let me be, I think at the beginning, very beginning, someone would say, why does she train so much? She doesn't need to do that. I was in full-time education, but my degree, I really didn't struggle with. I found it quite, I felt I had so much free time. So I was in the gym most of the day and studying 2-3 hours a night, and I got my first class. It was great. But they were like, why is she doing that? And then when I started winning and I started making an income and I started getting some sponsors, like, they stopped. Nobody's like, why? Because
like,
they know
that's why she's working so hard. Now we understand. Okay.
But it takes that time in between, because I'm like this now, but I've been like this when I couldn't do a pull-up. I've always been like this. And because I didn't have anything out of it, it looked like nonsense. But if you are intense, you are from when you're born. You don't just, people sometimes now say, are you working harder now because you want to go back to the games? Like, I'm working the same, only time has passed, and so my output has changed, but the mindset is exactly the same.
You're working harder because the weights are heavier, because they can be heavier because you've worked on them for so long. But it's not that you've suddenly decided, I should lift heavy weights. And maybe that goes well, maybe that goes right back to the thing of like, this coach you had for the games is probably used to coaching people that don't necessarily have that same drive that you have, maybe like, and you've got this self-propelling, like, you don't need someone to be pushing you. You're pushing yourself harder than they can. And if they then are pushing, it's like too much. Yeah. All right, Siria, I promised that I would only keep you to 45 minutes, and we're 43 minutes in. So I'm going to be a man of my word. We will wrap it up here. Thank you so much for making time, especially as I know you're a bit of a private person and you don't like talking too much and sharing too much. But when
I start talking, it's fine. But when I plan for it, when I agree to it. But if I'm in the gym and someone stops me, I don't like that.
Well, I'll have to start like ambushing you and stuff at comps and being like, sorry, Siria, I know you don't want to talk, but remember, we're friends.
When I'm in the competitions, I'm prepared for it as well. Like, I know I'm going into a very environment.
Well, have a great time in Rome. Enjoy the event.
Thank you.
Enjoy the pizza, whatever else you're going to get while you're out there. And I will see you at the end of March at the Arnold's, hopefully. And then, of course, I'll see your name on the leaderboard for the semifinals and in Korea, and then at the games and all of that stuff. But immediately, I'll see you at the Arnold. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone for watching or listening,
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
we'll be back next week.